Greetings, travelers. I'm your host, the C. The Knows a Lot, Dr. Waluigi. On August 11th, 2014, we lost one of the greatest comedic actors of all time, Robin Williams. For many kids, he shaped our childhoods with his amazing humor, memorable speeches, and his heart-jerking moments. From his animated voiceover roles like the genie from Aladdin, to even his more adult-centered roles like his performance as Daniel Hillard in Mrs. Doubtfire. Robin Williams is an actor that lives on in the heart of many of us, and he will continue to live on through his movies and TV shows. So on the 10-year anniversary of his death, I am going to honor this man's career by talking about one of my favorite underrated movies of his. This is a movie I don't hear too many people talk about, and is one that I feel definitely needs to be talked about more, for its amazing performances, incredible storytelling, and its emotional moments. So in honor of one of the greatest comedic actors, this is my review of What Dreams May Come. The movie is based on the book of the same name by sci-fi and horror author Richard Matheson. It mostly differs from the book, focusing on a lot of different mythologies based on heaven and hell, as well as the characters being written differently, or some not even being written in the book. The film received a lot of mixed reviews, as many critics found the visuals to be the best part of the movie, to the point that this movie won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects of that year, but didn't care for the plot as many critics found it confusing. This, sadly, led to the movie being a box office bomb, making $75 million against an estimated $90 million budget. However, it has gained a cult following and is often considered one of Robin Williams' better dramatic movies. I watched this movie when I was in high school, and while I haven't seen every serious performance by Robin Williams, I consider this to be the best of his serious movies for his amazing performance in it. I know many fans would consider movies like Good Morning Vietnam or Good Will Hunting to be the best of his dramatic roles, but I found that compared to those movies, this one gave him much more range and a lot more to work with the character he played. The movie follows the life and death of Christopher Nielsen. After the death of his children, and even himself being killed in a car accident, Chris goes to heaven and reunites with his children in his perfect paradise. However, his wife, who was still alive, feels too depressed to carry on and kills herself. It's now up to Chris, his mentor, and his son to travel through hell to save her. This is one of the best casts from a Robin Williams movie I've seen in a long while. I find that each of the actors made their characters believable in the situation they're given. You could tell that while Robin's character was happy to be in heaven, he missed his wife and was desperate to see his children. At the time in the story, they had to wait until he was acclimated to how heaven worked, then he could reunite with them. And his wife, played by Annabella Shora, is very believable in her grief after losing both her children and now her husband, especially the scenes where she is stuck in hell, showing how she still grieves for the most cherished things she lost. The other actors are just as good, like Max von Sydow, who plays Robin's old teacher, who chose a different form as he felt this is what his true form was. Which I really liked, as the idea of having these characters choose their own forms of who they felt a personal connection to in their life and wanted to appear like them in heaven. The only actor I feel was miscast was Cuba Gooding Jr., who played Robin's son, but as the form of his teacher that he took while in heaven. I'll talk more about why in the negatives, but for now, let's take a look at the positives. I think that the one thing that I agree with all the critics is that the designs of heaven are very impressive. I like that heaven is split into your own personal happy place from your memories, and then the rest of heaven is designed into more layers that are recognizable from religious pictures and paintings. It's something I personally don't see too often in movies that focus on heaven and how creative they make it. If I had to think of the best part of this movie, it's all of the emotional moments. When it comes to a lot of dramatic Robin Williams movies, the main thing I think makes these movies work is the emotional performances from him and the cast. And I think because of the subject matter, it's what makes this movie stand out. I know a lot of other Robin Williams movies have focused on serious subject matter as well, but this movie focuses on the subjects of life, death, and suicide, which is something I do think hits close to home, especially when I think of Robin Williams. And this movie does take those themes of the afterlife and creates a hopeful and happy place that I believe is where Robin Williams is. I think for me, this movie has only two big negatives. The first is the design of hell. I find that while heaven has an interesting and unique design, hell is lacking in that department as it looks very generic and rather boring. At least when Robin, Cuba, and Max von Sydow's characters enter Hell, I get that when they enter the first level of Hell, it typically doesn't look that impressive compared to the rest of Hell. But the rest of Hell doesn't stand out that much to me. It feels like there was more emphasis put on Heaven because it makes people feel good, and we don't want them thinking of what Hell might mean to the characters and subsequently the audience. The other issue I have with this movie is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s performance. I usually like the movies this actor has been in, as he is a good choice for comedic and serious moments. Here, though, he's definitely miscast for what the writers wanted him to be. He's supposed to play Robin's son disguised as his old mentor from when he was in school, and I can see the part of the son when he enters Hell and the compassion he has as a son, but it does feel like his performance is lacking when it comes to playing the mentor part of the character. That isn't to say that I hate this performance, but I feel like they should have gotten someone older to play this role, as it would have been more believable than Cuba's performance. If I had to pick an actor for this role, I would have gone with Ernie Hudson, as I think he could have played the mentor figure better. Despite this movie not being as well known as the other serious Robin Williams movies, I do think that it has a lot of redeeming qualities that make it an underrated gem. The performances are the best part of the movie hands down, but I'd say that the effects and the designs of Heaven are also pretty good. Overall, I give What Dreams May Come an 8 out of 10. If you're looking for a really great serious Robin Williams movie that focuses on the afterlife, I highly recommend checking out this movie. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Waluigi. And Robin, wherever you are, I hope that you know that we'll never forget you or the many movies you were in that made us laugh and cry. Thank you, my friend, for everything. Good night, everyone.